Hi, class. I just wanted to walk you guys through a little bit about what your essay is before we actually get started on the introduction mini lesson. So hopefully by now you've looked at this document, your Unit 5 essay, and you've started reading the directions. So you'll see each day a mini lesson will be posted to help you complete each part of your graphic organizer, your first draft, and your final essay. And there's a schedule here for you to look through, right? So today is your introduction, your work day is today, and it is due tomorrow morning. So it is homework to make sure that you get that part of your graphic organizer done. Tomorrow will be body paragraph 1, Wednesday, body paragraph 2, Thursday, the conclusion, and Friday, you'll work on your first draft. And you'll notice you have your work time and then your due date. Okay, and sometimes those are on the same day. Sometimes it's homework overnight to make sure that you finish up. Next week, if we are still working in this way or if we're back in the class, we will be working on our final draft Monday and Tuesday, and it will be due Tuesday at the end of the school day. So whether, we're in class that day or on the computer at 4 p.m. Make sure you do not turn in this document until your whole final draft is done. We don't want you submitting, unsubmitting, all of that. We'll be looking, as you're going. So your essay for Unit 5 is answering the question, which governmental system best promotes a golden age? Right, so you're thinking about, out of these 3 places we've learned about, China, Greece, and Rome, which one do you think had the best government to help them with peace, prosperity, strength, and innovation? So if we look, you have directions here, and there's a hyperlink here you can open up, writing a social studies essay. This will bring you to a new page, and when it opens up, you'll see you have your introduction directions, your body paragraph directions, your conclusion directions. These should look really familiar to you because they're just like your ELA format. Okay, what's tiny little differences here and there, but very, very similar. Okay, so using that to help you. I'm going to go back to the Unit 5 essay document. You'll see, depending on which civilization you want to choose, we've given you readings that you can use for that civilization. So if you're going to choose China during the Han Dynasty, here are different documents to get your evidence from. You will have to go back on Classroom and find these documents, which is why we gave you the dates, and the titles. If you're choosing democracy in Athens, you'll look back to those documents. If you're choosing the Roman Empire, which is obviously our most recent, you'd be looking at, Augustus and the Pax Romana, using those documents I have highlighted. Then you'll see you have your graphic organizer. Some of yours might look slightly different, but overall, you have this basic layout. So hook, background, claim for your introduction, which is what we're going to work on today. Body paragraph 1, body paragraph 2, conclusion, first draft box, and final essay box. And again, you're following this day by day as we go. Don't try to rush ahead. We don't want you to get confused. At the bottom, you'll also see your rubric. Right, so it's similar to your ELA rubric. You're going to be graded out of 4 for each part of your essay. So your introduction, right, a clear, thought-provoking hook. Background information is accurate and detailed, setting the stage for the time period. A complete claim that provides 2 answers finishes the introduction. Your claim is like your thesis. Okay, same idea there. Then you have your body paragraph, which we'll look at more tomorrow. And then your conclusion, which again, we'll look at more on Thursday. And then spelling and grammar. So making sure, that you're capitalizing what needs to be capitalized. You're putting periods, you're putting commas where you need them. You're putting your quotation marks, around your text evidence. So your final grade will be out of 20 on this essay, right? So 20 points. There's also a rubric attached right to this so you can look at. It's the same rubric as this, just so that we can click on it, just like we did for the CEI. So if we have to return it on here, that's how you'll get your grade. So let's open up today's mini lesson, your introduction mini lesson. This is the mini lesson that we're really going to look at today to help you write your introduction, right? So we were so far just kind of looking at our essay. Now we're really going to look at our introduction. So your introduction, and again, very similar to ELA, introduces the reader to the essay topic and provides your claim, which is like a thesis. So you have a hook, a general statement about the topic to hook the reader in, right? Something to grab their attention. Your background, which, in ELA, you would kind of introduce the novel, right? In social studies, you're setting up the history. So are you talking about China? Are you talking about Greece, Rome? What time period are we in? What was going on at that time? And then your claim, right? Restating and answering the essay question to set up your 2 body paragraphs. So what we've given you here is we have provided you with a claim, no matter which one you're picking, right? So if you're picking China, you have your claim. If you're picking Greece, you have your claim. If you're picking Rome, you have your claim. So whichever one you're going to choose, I want you to take it right now. So if you're going to pick Rome, let's say, you're going to copy it, bring it over to your essay document, right? So over to this essay document and paste it right into that claim section of your graphic organizer. And again, does not need to be Rome. That was just the example. It can be Rome, Greece, or China. So take a minute and copy and paste whichever one you want to your graphic organizer. So continuing with the mini lesson, your hook. An essay hook is the first sentence of your essay. It serves as an introduction and works to grab the reader's attention. The first couple sentences will help your reader decide whether they want to continue reading your essay or not, right? So you do want this to be interesting, right? Something that brings people in. The hook should be general information and not be too specific to your civilization. So set up a golden age, but don't just restate the definition, right? We don't just want like a golden age is a time of peace, prosperity, strength, and innovation. A little bit more than that. Then your background information. So setting the stage for what you will be writing about. This should get specific to your civilization, right? So your hook, not so specific. Your background, you are getting specific. So this is just saying the where and when, right? So what classical civilization are you talking about? Where is it located? What time period? What government did they have? What government did they maybe have right before that? What led to their golden age? So underneath your directions, you have practice with some different models of introductions. All of these models are based on the Athens, Greece claim. So if we want to reread that one up here, democracy in Athens was the governmental system that best promoted a golden age because it gave citizens a say in their government and provided more opportunities for people of different social classes, which promoted peace, prosperity, strength, and innovation in order to lead to their golden age. So these introductions are just models based on that. Again, you can be doing any China, Greece, or Rome. So your directions, read each introduction, assign each introduction a grade by highlighting the rubric and filling out the what was done well and what needs improvement. And then check your answers by unhighlighting the second row. So you're going to see you have an introduction here. Then you have a rubric, right, which you will highlight. Are you giving it a 4? You would highlight a 4, a 3, right, or a 2, or a 1, whichever one you're going to decide. Right underneath it, you'll put your grade that you're giving it. So if you're giving it, a 1, you'd write it like that, or a 2, a 3, or a 4. And then just saying what was done well, what needs improvement. So why did you give it the grade that you gave it? So if we're looking at this first one, there are many types of governmental systems. Throughout history, different places have had different types of governmental systems. Some of these are good for golden ages, and some of them are bad for golden ages. Democracy in Athens was the one that best promoted a golden age. So why don't you pause right now to fill out this top row? So what grade are you giving it based on this rubric, and why, right? What was done well? What needs improvement? So take a minute, pause me so you can fill that out. So hopefully you paused and you did that, right? Because this is a good way to practice. How you're going to check your answers, you're going to unhighlight, right? So taking off our highlight here to none and look at what we gave it. So the teachers gave this one a 1 out of 4. So a very weak introduction paragraph. It was 4 sentences, which we said 3 to 4 sentences is good here. The claim does not have a because, right? It's not specific enough. The hook is boring. And the historical context is not specific. It should have set up democracy in Athens for us. It should have told us a little bit about Greece. Okay, so hopefully, you gave it a 1 or maybe a 2, but hopefully you realize that this was a pretty weak introduction. So the second one now, if we're looking, a golden age is a period of time when a civilization is at its peak. Certain types of governmental systems better promote golden ages than others. During the classical age, the Greek city-state of Athens experienced a golden age when they developed the world's first democracy after overthrowing their tyrant leaders. Democracy in Athens was the governmental system that best promoted a golden age because it gave the citizens a say in their government and provided more opportunities for people of different social classes, which promoted peace, prosperity, strength, and innovation in order to lead to their golden age. So looking at this rubric, deciding, is it a 4, a 3, a 2, or a 1? Does it lack clarity? Is it incomplete? Is it accurate, but or does it really have the information it needs here? And then why did you give it that grade, right? So put in your grade, what was done well, what needs improvement. So take a minute to pause and do that. So if we look at what the teachers gave it here, if we unhighlight, we did give it a 4 out of 4. A strong claim, specific background information, right? It sets up, it's the classical age, the world's first democracy. They overthrew their tyrants, right? Telling us where we are in Greece, and what was going on. The hook is clear, introduces the topic. And we said really nothing was done poorly here, right? Nothing really needs improvement. So looking at the third one, golden ages are best promoted by democratic governments because they give people a voice in their government. Golden ages are when civilizations are at their peak and experience peace, prosperity, strength, and innovation. Throughout history, there have been many different types of governmental systems, and some of the governmental systems are better for golden ages than others. For example, the empire in Rome did not promote a golden age because it eventually fell. The government in Athens best promoted their golden age. So take a minute deciding what would you give it on our rubric here. Giving your grade down here, filling in what was done well, what needs improvement. So take a minute to pause and do that. Okay, so if we look at the teacher grade here by unhighlighting, we'll see they gave it a 2 out of 4. So we gave it a 2 here, right? Too similar to the claim. Background information may lack clarity. Claim may not fully answer the question. What was done well? The background was okay, right? It had some information to help the reader, but what needs improvement here? The hook is too specific, right? Remember, your hook, this first sentence, we shouldn't know which civilization you chose there. So by saying democratic, we already know that they're choosing Athens. We don't want to know that yet. We shouldn't know that until the background information. The claim has no because, right? That's a big one here. Remember, we're giving you the claim, so all of your claims should be perfect. And this information about Rome, that doesn't belong here, right? This, for example, the empire in Rome did not promote a golden age. We don't need that in your introduction. We don't need that in body paragraphs. We don't need that in conclusion, right? If you're not choosing Rome, you should not be talking about Rome. And same for the other one. Stick to your civilization. Okay, so that was our grade for that last one. So your final directions here, you're going to complete the introduction box of your graphic organizer in your Unit 5 essay doc. Make sure, again, you hopefully already did it, copy and paste your claim from above. The introduction box of the graphic organizer is due tomorrow, Tuesday, at 8:59 a.m., right? So you have it as your classwork was to do this document, but also to do your introduction, but it's homework. So you have past 4 p.m. You have until tomorrow morning to finish it up. So keep in mind, you have these claims up here. Keep in mind, these blue and red, they're setting up your 2 body paragraphs, right? So make sure you pick one that you are like, yeah, I can find good evidence for that. I remember learning about that. That's something I want to write about, right? So again, if you're going to choose China, the Han Dynasty, you'll be thinking about the strong leadership of its emperors and Confucianism. If you're going to choose Athens, citizens having a say and more opportunities for people of different social classes. Rome, leadership that encouraged innovation, right? So those Pax Romana achievements, and the expansion of territory through military conquest. So again, whichever one you're picking, make sure you copy and paste that to your introduction over here. So really all you have to finish up now is your hook and your background, right? So you can use the introduction mini lesson, for some ideas, right? For further directions, look at those models again, think about how you want to set it up. Remember, your hook should not be too specific to your civilization. Your background is where you set up. When was this going on? What type of government did they have? Did they overthrow somebody to get that? Like maybe if you're doing Rome, you mentioned Julius Caesar. If you're doing the Han Dynasty, maybe you mention the Qin Dynasty that came before them. If you're doing Greece, you can mention they had kings, they had tyrants, right, before their democracy. Okay, so that's what you guys are finishing up for homework tonight. So make sure, you do this, and your teachers will be going through and starting to leave you comments tomorrow while you're working on your first body paragraph. Okay.